These are the 10 things that you should never do to your MetaQuest 3S. And starting it off is mistake number 1, which is breaking your head straps when removing it incorrectly. And sadly, a lot of Quest owners have permanently damaged their headsets while they were trying to take these off. So to prevent this from happening, instead of pulling it straight towards you, you want to make sure to first remove the top band from its loop. And after that, hold on to the headset firmly and twist the strap downwards in a single motion. And in that way, you should be able to easily click them off without having to worry about breaking them at all. And that same actually goes for the Quest 3's facial interface, because just like with the head strap, you can quickly end up breaking its fragile mechanism if you pull on it too hard from one side. So instead, you want to grab it in the middle and pull it straight away from you to remove the entire faceplate in just a second. But moving on, we have mistake number 2, which is not using your controller straps. Because even though every Quest headset comes with these directly out of the box, a lot of users just find them annoying or just choose to not use them in general. However, when you're playing an intense VR game, you might then end up accidentally throwing your controller across the room. So, for your own safety, make sure to always attach these correctly. And as an extra bonus, you can also use a trick with these so that you can give your controllers a knuckle strap design. So to do this, first make a big loop on the outside and slowly start pulling it over the top of your controllers until they fit snugly just above your trigger button. And after that, just simply put your hand through it and just tighten up if needed, and you will be all set. And the cool thing is that in this way, you'll be able to let go of your controllers completely, while they will still stay stuck to your hands. But that gets us to mistake number 3, which is not cleaning your headset and lenses properly. Because while it is really easy to just use your t-shirt and wipe off your optics, this can actually cause some micro scratches that you won't be able to fix afterwards at all. And that same goes for when you're using a nearby laying paper towel. So instead, you want to get yourself a clean microfiber cloth and wipe your lenses in a circular motion. But next to just your optics, don't forget to clean your facial interface regularly with soap as well, since this would otherwise turn into a massive sponge of bacteria that is thanks to the sweat that got absorbed while you are using it inside of virtual reality. And if you choose to not do this, then besides just it starting to smell bad, it might even give you some bad skin reactions on top of that. So please make sure to take care of it properly. And mistake number 4 is not adjusting your IPD correctly. And if you think that your Quest headset screen is blurry right now, then this might actually be the cause of it. So make sure to always set your headset to the correct setting that is specifically tailored for you by pushing it either to the left or right into one of its 3 different levels. But a little trick that many people don't know is that if you feel like your settings should be somewhere between 2 levels, then you can also slowly move them in the middle and get the sharpest image possible for your personal needs. But if after all of that, you still feel like your screen doesn't look sharp, then we get to mistake number 5, which is not getting lens inserts. And this is especially important for those people who normally wear glasses or lenses in real life, since this can instantly make your games look from a pixelated mess to some actual crisp looking quality. Although, the only downside is that the official options from Meta sadly always come at a pretty heavy price tag. So instead, it is highly recommended to get some third-party alternatives, like the ones I have right here from VRWave. Because not only do these come at nearly half the original price when compared to the ones of Meta, they also add in a bunch of extra options such as a glare reduction or a blue light filter. And that can even be useful for those who already have perfect eyesight in the first place. And best of all, to install them, all you have to do is just simply click them in magnetically or swap them out whenever you don't want to use them. So that is pretty damn nice. So either way, I will of course also make sure to leave links to these down in the description below. But that gets us to mistake number 6, and that is when you're only using the Quest store page. Now, while you probably will be able to find most of your standalone VR games on here, there are also a bunch of VR titles and experiences that just aren't available on Meta's own store at all. So if you want even more options, then it might also be worth it to get the popular side quest on your headset, because this will give you another massive library of VR games that are often completely free to play. But if you want something more hardcore, then you can also choose to play some PC VR games through the Steam store instead. And that could unlock games such as Boneworks and Half-Life Alyx, which are often considered as the best VR games of all time. Just keep in mind though, that you will need a buff gaming PC to be able to play these properly. And as an extra tip, if you do decide to buy any VR game on the Quest store after all, then do make sure that you never pay the full price for it. Because for example, you can always use the code VRelity on literally any Meta Quest game and directly get at least 10% off of the total cost. And that even goes for DLC and add-ons too. So make sure to not miss out on that. And mistake number 7 is playing VR in a room where you have mirrors. Now, not many people actually know about this, but when you have some real-life mirrors or reflective surfaces in your play area, then the tracking of both your headset and controllers can often really get messed up. And this is mainly because your Quest uses your outside cameras to keep track of where you are inside of VR. So, to prevent this, make sure to either turn these around when you're playing or put them somewhere else altogether. But before we get to the next 3 biggest Quest 3S mistakes that you really don't want to miss, let's first have a quick word from the company that made this video possible. Because none other than Cat VR, who are known for creating VR treadmills that look like they come straight out of Ready Player One, are once again taking virtual reality to the next level. Because while we are normally limited by the boundary system inside our VR experiences, it is Cat VR that has created these VR treadmills that let you run and jump without any limitation. And since their most recent version, which is known as the C2 Plus Enhanced, is compatible with every VR headset that you can think of, it is also often considered as the dream upgrade for any VR user. And they even go so far that it has things like haptic feedback built into it, as well as a vehicle hub, which will make it feel even more realistic when you're racing on a track or flying through the sky. And as a cherry on top, you can also use the code VRelity for a whopping $130 off on your entire purchase. So for those who are interested, I'll leave a link in the description below. And that gets us to mistake number 8, which is not using your free Horizon Plus. Now, each Quest 3S comes with at least 2 months worth of Horizon Plus included, which can actually unlock over 100 VR games for you to play, but then completely for free. And these even include some all-time classics such as Beat Saber, as well as some are newer titles too. But the cool thing is that besides this is growing each month, they also added in a big indie catalog on top of it, which could be great if those are more the types of games that you're looking for. However, since you do need to activate your Horizon Plus before you can actually use it, a lot of people just completely forget about it or accidentally let it expire. So make sure that doesn't happen to you. And mistake number 9 is not turning off your headset. And while you might think that putting your Quest 3S in sleeping mode is the way to go, since this can allow you to jump back into VR whenever you want, this is sadly not the case in reality. Because not only does your headset lose significant battery life over time, you will also start to notice a lot more bugs and visual glitches happening when you start doing this for a while. So next time when you're done with your VR session, just save yourself some extra juice and also avoid some potential issues by just shutting it down fully. But that gets us to mistake number 10, which is only using your Quest for gaming. Because while most people will spend their majority of their time in VR, either in some kind of fantasy world or maybe an intense action experience, your headset is actually capable of so much more besides that. Think about, for example, watching movies on a massive screen in front of you, or even creating some of your very own art in a virtual studio, to name a few. But that is not all, because there are also a lot of awesome VR experience on the Quest headsets which aren't games and that you need to know about. So click on the video that you see on screen right now to make sure you don't miss out on that. And of course, stay awesome.